Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on mysterious and weird true stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 180, written by Pilosuh. Objects disappear, reappear. Make up your mind, universe. Some years ago, my school made an international student exchange. Before it was our turn to go to the other country, we hosted 2 students from the other school in our home. One of them was, not from a poor family I think, but one with important financial difficulties. He was happy to participate in the program, to discover a new country, new people, and a new school. For the special occasion, his mother gave him sunglasses before his travel. It wasn't much, but for him it was an important gift his mother personally paid for him. He enjoyed a good stay in my country and made good memories here. The night before he left for his return, when he was packing his bags on his bed, he began to panic. He lost his sunglasses and didn't know where they were. We tried to search thoroughly all over the room. We even completely stripped his bed to see if they weren't stuck between the wall and the mattress, without success. We searched the rest of the house to see if he had strayed them outside the bedroom, with no more success. Next morning, he had no choice but to go to the airport for his departure. He was very sad and angry against himself because his mother paid for those sunglasses. He also said that he was feeling so stupid due to the fact that he had lost them. We made our goodbyes and he took the flight. Several weeks later, when my own mother was cleaning this room, she found those sunglasses on the bed. Considering we stripped this entire bed to look for them, there was no logical explanation as to how those sunglasses ended up on this very specific location. We thought before that they were lost forever. We sent the sunglasses by package to give them back to him. He was happy that we finally found them, but we are still utterly astonished by how we found them. Case notes, file number 180. So this glitch, the disappearing object phenomenon, is so common that it has its own subreddit now. It makes sense. It's the most common glitch I read and the only one I've personally experienced. I can't describe just how simultaneously silly and unsettling it is, because you know it's 100% impossible, but it's so small, either in how the object vanished or in where it reappears. The only mundane explanation is everyone is somehow perfectly being pranked by their relatives or something, but even that is not realistic, especially not when objects disappear often right in front of our eyes, as happened to me with a tennis ball. It really is like the universe processing unit simply loses track of that object, like a corrupted SSD or something, or whatever storage device they use in the real world. Are you ready for the red pill, Neo? I am. If you're enjoying this video, consider giving it a like. Now on to the next story. Case file number 181, written by some guy 2930. A smile you never want to see again in your life. When I was 14, I had a strange encounter that still puzzles me to this day. On the weekends, I'd sometimes go to my mother's place. My parents are divorced. The house she lived in was converted into several small apartments. It was a creepy old farmhouse. The house was at least 150, maybe 200 years old. My mom told me off and on about strange sounds she'd been hearing, seeing things in the corner of her eyes, feelings of being watched. This one particular evening when I spent the night, I brought my N64 because my mom would go to bed early and I'd still be up for a few more hours. I still remember to this day what game I was playing, WWF No Mercy. I was sitting Indian style on the floor playing story mode. I just finished a mission in the game and set down the controller to the left of me, behind me. Directly behind me was a recliner. I'll never forget what I saw next. I went to grab the controller and saw what appeared to be like a huff, like a horse next to the controller on the floor. Insects and blood was coming out of the sliver that separated the huff. I thought to myself, how freaking strange. I slowly glanced up and this demonic figure was staring back at me. It leaned towards me, its face got down on my face and grinned the most evil smile. The eyes black, face red, one-winged creature. Blood was dripping from its teeth. It was so surreal I immediately went into a panic attack and blacked out. I learned later that it was the fight or flight response. Several seconds later, I came to. Laying on the floor, I could barely move. The demonic figure in the chair laughing. It was as if my fear and energy had been sucked dry from me. I lost all strength. I did all I could to crawl to my mom's room and wake her up. After I woke her up, we talked and she believed me. She told me that she too had seen the same thing earlier that week, but didn't want to scare me. I don't know what to make of it and still think of it to this day. I have no doubt demons and angels are real and believe the last thing you ever want to encounter is a demon smiling in your face. I don't care if you believe me or not, but when two people see the same thing on two separate occasions, either we're both crazy or something is or was wrong with that old farmhouse. My mom has thankfully moved since then, and we haven't encountered that thing again. Case notes, file number 181. Demons always shook me to my core, and yet similar to forces of nature, they have a strong allure to them, like a moth to a flame perhaps. I'm sure if I ever experienced what you did, an entity that evil smiling and laughing at me, I'd never want to experience it again. Can't say the thought hasn't occurred to me though, to know what it's like to at least see one. The same thing with tornadoes. I want to see one, but I know how reckless that is. I'm glad you're okay though. I think if it was a proper demon or a malevolent spirit, again, there are rules on what they can actually do to humans, at least without being invited in. A common theme in lore that evil has to be invited in across the threshold, and that can mean a physical home or our own bodies, I believe.